ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਗੋਬਿੰਦੇ ਮੁਕੰਦੇ ਉਧਾਰੇ ਅਪਾਰੇ, ਹਰੀਯੰ ਕਰਿਯੰ ਨਿਰਨਾਮੇ ਅਕਾਮੇ। ਗੋਬਿੰਦੇ ਮੁਕੰਦੇ ਉਧਾਰੇ ਅਪਾਰੇ, ਹਰੀਯੰ ਕਰਿਯੰ ਨਿਰਨਾਮੇ ਅਕਾਮੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। So, as per our previous discussion during Adhyay Ashtavakra Gita, Adhyay 17th, here Ashtavakra ji is explaining that who a real Gyani is. And as per that as well, various examples from Gurbani has been given alongside too. And Gurbani clearly explains who a Brahma Gyani is, so that we can actually understand what Gurmat is. And rather than just following some so-called Babas or different people who actually do not practice the truths themselves. So Maharaj has given a clear definition, information that who a real Gyani is. So to continue with that, in Salok 7, just a bit of a recap that in that Maharaj explains that for a Gyani, they no longer are attached to this sansar, to this world. And what it means is they have attained a state within themselves, which is a very carefree state. So even though they are physically present in the world, it does not, in a simplified way, it does not affect them anymore. Whether the world is progressing or there is a lot of things going on in the world, they within themselves are still in their own Atam Sarup. So they do not get affected by the world. Salok 8th. Salok, ਇਸ ਗਿਆਨ ਨਾਲ ਕ੍ਰਿਤਾਰਥ, ਇਸੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੀਨ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਸੰਤੁਸ਼ਟ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਵੇਖਦਾ, ਛੂੰਦਾ, ਸੁੰਘਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਖਾਂਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੁਖੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਜਿਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ. So with this gyan, the direct experience of Atam Sarup, those who have realized their own Atam Sarup after doing abhyas of Gurbani, after spending time with this wisdom, and then eventually they practice that in their own life. And what happened after that? They attained the same state as all the Brahmgyanis, all the Pagats, all the Mahapurkhs. So in that way, when they stay still in their Atam Sarup, what happens is, even if they are still operating in the world, they are looking at things, they are touching the things. So what it means is they are still, their senses are still very much operating. However, they do not let the senses go astray. So in the same way, in the next Salok, Maharaj explains that for an Atam Gyani, nothing else is present apart from their own Atam Sarup. They have understood that fully and they experience it within themselves, that the Atma, the Swat, the Self Sarup, the consciousness, that's what they are, that it's like we discussed, it's known by so many different names, that being that they are, that is the same present, the same truth that is actually present everywhere. So even if they are looking at other people, to them they are talking to themselves, their own Atam Sarup. So in that way, Their senses do not wander around anymore, even if they are every day living a normal life. And because they have become complete within themselves, they have recognized the truth that is already complete. They have reached a desireless state, because desires only appear from some kind of um, when we think that there is something lacking in us. For instance, we think this thing, I would be happy if I get this thing, or I will achieve the next title, the next position, the next thing. But for a Brahmgyani, they are complete within themselves. They have found something, that very precious truth, very precious tattva, the essence, that is complete. So there is no point of having a desire. It doesn't mean they don't eat, they don't live their day to day life. That's just happening in a what Gurbani calls in Sahid, because those are just the nature of the body. The body continues to feel the hunger and obviously thirst, everything. However, within themselves, they are still in their Atam Sarup. So the senses no longer chase pleasures anymore, and they have become completely content within themselves. Salok, ਨਾ ਜਾਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸੌਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਅੱਖ ਖੋਲਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮੀਟਦਾ ਹੈ. So what this means is, it doesn't mean that a Brahmgyani does not sleep. They still go to bed, they still sleep, they still eh, go through the wakeful state, dream, and deep sleep. What it means is that all these three states does not have any difference for them. There is no difference of among these three states. So even when a self-realized person is in a wakeful state, like we are talking right now, they are still not getting affected by that they don't see any difference between that and the peace that they get from the deep sleep. So they don't uh, chase another like state. Same when it comes to spirituality. Oftentimes we think spirituality means to let go of this body or to disappear from the world, and to within the mind to start experiencing different experiences, to create more experiences. However, that's again not what real spirituality is. Real spirituality is whether you can be in absolute peace no matter wherever you are. And this happens with Guru Kirpa, with practice. ਅਸਚਰਜ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੀਵਨ ਮੁਕਤ ਦੀ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ ਭਾਵ ਹਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਪਰਮ ਦਸ਼ਾ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ. So Maharaj is saying it is astonishing, because who's going to believe that for real? Like if all this information that we are reading about, it's very astonishing that actually is there such a thing even, what this is talking about. And that's exactly what how rare it is. That's why not many people actually are speaking about it. Not many people are able to practice it, because it's not an easy journey too. It looks easy, but it requires literally dying within. And that's the death of the mind. That's the death of the separation, separate identity. Imagine dying while in this body. So, how rare it is, how precious it is. So, Maharaj is saying it is astonishing that no matter wherever a self realized person is, they are in such a supreme state that it's shocking to even talk about. Salok, ਗਿਆਨੀ ਸਭ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਸਵੈ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਥਿਤ ਨਿਰਮਲ अंतःकरण वाला दिसता है. So a gyani is always still in their own Atam Sarup, whether they are talking softly, fast, they are doing some whatever activity. It's very hard to actually see what a self-realized person is experiencing within themselves. So Maharaj is saying that no matter wherever they are absolutely still in their own Atam Sarup. Nirmal Antakaran Wala this time. What it means is their subtle body, which we have discussed, is the mind, the intellect, the ahankar, the chit, the subconscious mind. All this has become pure. And what it means is that no matter wherever they are, the world does not leave any impressions on their mind anymore. And in all that way, they have become, by doing that, by doing the abhyas practice of self realization, by being still in their Atam Sarup, all the desires have become naturally, they have distinguished naturally in a very subtle way. And wherever they are completely in a liberated state. Their mind does not experience any friction anymore. So, in that way, the mind is absolutely free. Salok. Jatan nirjatan ਰਹਿਤ ਵੇਖਦਾ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਛੂਹਦਾ ਸੁੰਘਦਾ ਖਾਂਦਾ ਪਕੜਦਾ ਬੋਲਦਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਮਹਾਪੁਰਸ਼ ਮੁਕਤ ਵਿਚਰਦਾ ਹੈ. So they have reached the effortless state. What it means is whatever they are doing through the body, the functions of the body are just naturally happening. They are still listening, they're still talking, they are still doing everything. They're still using their senses. However, the senses do not wander away. The senses have become very still. So, in that way, they have attained a state of liberation. And that's why Guru Bani gives example of the lotus flower on the water. Jal vich kamal vang. Because the lotus flower always remains detached. Even if the water is clean or dirty, doesn't matter. In the same way, a Brahmagyani is always completely detached, pure within himself. Salok. ਜੀਵਨ ਮੁਕਤ ਨਾ ਨਿੰਦਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਸਤਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ. So a person who has realized their Atam Sarup, they are called the Jivan Mukt because they are free within their body. They don't slander others. It doesn't mean they don't speak the truth. They will naturally speak the truth, but it might appear as that they are slandering. So there is a difference between, let's understand actually what Ninda is. Ninda doesn't mean that not to speak the truth. For instance, if someone is a thief, to call a thief, obviously to point it out, is not slandering. That's stating the fact. Ninda means that which is not actually true. For instance, someone is doing a really good job, a really good work, some great seva, and you go behind them or you tell other people something that's not true about them. That's Ninda. And why Gurbani talks about that don't do Ninda of others? The reason is because it increases the subtle home within. The moment you're slandering someone, your mind is thinking somehow that you're better than the other person. Or at least I don't do that. At least I'm not like that person. That just increases the home. And then again, that's the reason why the mind suffers again, because the comparison has been it has given birth to comparison in that. So that's why Brahmagyani doesn't do ninda. They don't slander, nor they praise anyone. Again, it doesn't mean that they won't state the fact. If someone is doing a good job, they will still point it out. But it's not like they will praise someone to get something in return. They won't, they don't have people pleasing. In today's language, obviously, um, people pleasing has become a big thing. We feel something else, however, we say something else. We may not um, appreciate something in others, or we may notice something and then we start praising that person because we are scared we're going to lose them or they're not going to like us. So there is no such thing for a self-realized person. They don't people please. Na khush hunda hai, what it means is, it doesn't mean a Brahmgyani does not laugh or doesn't smile. What it means is, no matter how much sukh, happiness comes in their life, they don't get affected by it. They will still laugh around, still have all the emotions. However, they within themselves, they remain detached, nor they get angry. So these are all the qualities of a Brahmgyani that they practice within themselves. And at one point, they are not even practicing anymore because they have it has become their second nature, right? So again, it doesn't mean that they don't express anger. If it happens in a very situational basis, they will play around and still portray a bit of anger to, navigate in the world. However, within themselves, they have absolute no anger left. Na denda hai na lenda hai. So they're not like, if anyone, even if they meet another Brahmgyani, they don't feel obliged that they have got something from them or they have given anything. Even if they're doing any type of seva physically, they don't think I am the one who's doing that. The nature has completely dissolved. Now everything is just happening through the body for them. Har pras- Paristhiti, what it means is the situation, which nirlep rehta hai. So, in every situation of life, doesn't matter whatever the situation is, they remain detached. Salok, ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਭਰੀ ਇਸਤਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਮੌਤ ਨੂੰ ਨੇੜੇ ਉਪਸਥਿਤ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਅਵਿਚਲਿਤ ਮਨ ਵਾਲਾ ਸਵੈ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਥਿਤ ਮਹਾਪੁਰਸ਼ ਨਿਸ਼ਚੈ ਹੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਮੁਕਤ ਹੈ. So Maharaj says, even if, so in in the state of Brahma Gyan, the self-realization, for the understanding purpose, it has been divided into about 7 to 8 steps, stages. And it is said that the last stage of Brahma Gyan, when someone has completely dissolved their separate identity, they start getting all the riddhiya siddhiya. Sometimes to that extent that if the Brahma Gyan is, the Gyan is not completely absorbed yet, the mind can still obviously get distracted by that. Because imagine saying something and it becomes true. Imagine thinking about it and it starts becoming true. Now imagine the ahankar that someone can get from that. So Maharaj here is explaining that a real Gyani, Brahm Gyani is that who actually does not even get affected by that. They don't get affected, whatever they say, whatever they think of, even if it becomes true in whatever way, they are not taking ankar of that at all. That's how the last stage, they, with kirpa of Gyan, they transcend all that. So even Prem Pari Istri means for a man, an opposite gender, like a beautiful woman, or for a woman, a very good looking guy. It does not affect their state anymore. Or the death. The fear of death is no longer there for a Brahmgyani. Let's understand a little bit about death. It's a topic that Gurbani talks about so much about in a very, very beautiful way. But when it comes to our daily lives, we don't like talking about this thing called death, because we think it is a very scary thing, as if something is going to come and pull out your life energy and you're going to get punished for everything. The truth is, your subconscious mind is the only one that punishes you. There is no one out there who's going to come, and obviously, your mind is going to create that as well. So, Gurbani explains what death is. Gurbani says everything that is temporary, the body, the name, the career, whatever, you obviously, it's so easy to actually identify all these different identities. Everything that's temporary, that's meant to change, the moment all these things, this change is happening, the moment you lose all the identities, that's what the death is. The body is going to disappear one day. There is no, like, it's not a sad thing. It sounds very sad. However, Gurbani says, isn't that the truth though? The Gurbani clearly explains all that, that your identity is going to dissolve one day. And that is what death is really. But you, as the Atam Sarup, the awareness, the consciousness is not going to die. It never was born. So the thing that was never born, how can it even die? So Gurbani, that's why I say over and over again, recognize this essence within yourself. So you can actually understand that what is this thing that's actually dying. And when a self-realized person have actually recognized their essence, to them, death is no longer scary. They just know it's okay. Today I'm known by this name. One day this is going to fade away, right? Today I'm known by this gender. One day this whole identity is going to collapse. So within themselves, they have actually become completely detached. So in that way, Svaya Vichasthit, the Mahapurush, they remain liberated while they are in their own Atam Sarup. Salok, ਸਮਦਰਸ਼ੀ ਧੀਰ ਪੁਰਸ਼ ਸੁਖ ਦੁੱਖ ਪੁਰਸ਼ ਇਸਤਰੀ ਅੱਛੇ ਅਤੇ ਬੁਰੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਰਥਾਤ ਕੋਈ ਅੰਤਰ ਨਹੀਂ so for a Brahma Gyani there is no difference between sukh dukh. They have understood that the moment there is this separate identity, that as if there is one Paramatma, someone else, and there is me, the sukh dukh can only happen there. But within the mind of a Brahmgyani, they have completely disappeared. Purush is three, the opposite genders. One is good, one is bad. So all the duality has been completely eradicated in their mind. All this is happening in the mind level still, because Atma, the self, it does not get affected by any of it anyway. So that's why for Brahmgyani as well, it does not get affected, because they are constantly in their own self sarup. ਸਲੋਕ ਜਿਸ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਦਾ ਸੰਸਾਰਿਕ ਜੀਵਨ ਖੀਨ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਰੁਣਾ ਨਾ ਗੁਸਤਾਖੀ ਨਾ ਦੀਨਤਾ ਨਾ ਹੈਰਾਨੀ ਨਾ ਮਾਨਸਿਕ ਵਿਚਲਨ. So Maharaj is saying a person who has truly understood, recognized their essence within themselves, that they are this pure awareness. And in that pure awareness, everything has got dissolved. As we have discussed this over and over again, that for a Brahmgyani, they are the only one present in this world. And that's why they don't even hate anyone, they don't even love anyone. They don't have anything, any compassion, but they show that because obviously they are still part of the body, they still have to continue doing this play. Nor they become shocked with anything. Nothing in the world anymore surprises them. Na mansik vichlan. And their mind is no longer getting disturbed. The disturbance of the mind is a very obviously common thing that's going around everywhere. So that's why the enlightenment, the Brahm Vidya, the Brahm Gyan is considered extremely precious, because no matter what the truth says, this is the ultimate truth, the ultimate realization that's going to destroy the wandering of the mind, and the mind will become still in that awareness itself, and then it will no longer get affected by anything. This is again, just to do a bit of recap, it happens with practice. We don't have to wait for someone out there to do the practice for us. We don't have to go to any Baba. We don't have to matha take different places. All we have to do is practice this wisdom within our daily lives. And when that experience occurs, we surrender it to the Guru. So, surrender is extremely important. Otherwise, it gives more birth to Ankar. And that's going to again become the cause of the Dukh. So, I like to see it as a very simplified formula in life. If you want to be in a state of peace 24/7, all you have to do is trust the wisdom, follow it within yourself, and completely surrender it to your Guru, so that there is no room, no space left for Ahankar even. So, Maharaj Kirpa, we will take pause here. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.